Before their preseason game on Sunday, the Cowboys and Rams joined each other for a scrimmage in Oxnard, California. And in my opinion, these are the best practices. The first team offense and defense get to play against guys that aren't their own teammates. We see big plays. We get a feel for how good each of these units are. Joint practices just are the best. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. What did we see from the Cowboys scrimmage with the Rams on Thursday? I saw a dominant defensive line and a pretty efficient Cowboys offense, so let's get into the video. CeeDee Lamb is still in the midst of his holdout with the Cowboys, which means that this Dallas offense is having to find other ways to move the ball without their number one wide receiver. And the way that they did that in this scrimmage was with wide receiver 2, Brandin Cooks. Cooks was cooking in practice. He made multiple big plays, and the connection with Dak Prescott only seems to get better and better. Another year with Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy, Cooks should be a more consistent piece in this offense. We saw it kind of come together down the back half of the season last year. I'm not gonna lie though, I was a little nervous about what Cooks could bring to the table as a 10th year receiver, but so far through camp, he looks like he still has really good bursts. The route running is still very crisp, and he continues to get open at the age of 30. So he still has the physical tools to do it at the NFL level. Add in that he's now been here for a full 2 off seasons in Dallas. I'm actually really confident in the wide receiver room once CeeDee Lamb does get back. In this scrimmage without CeeDee, I thought that the offense held up pretty well. They moved the ball, they made plays down the field, they picked up consistent first downs. I was happy to see that other guys could step up and make plays. Tolbert, Turpin, Ferguson, Brooks, Cropper, all of them got involved in some ways. They made plays and the ball was really moving all around the field. And honestly, we haven't talked about it enough on the channel, but Dak Prescott has been really, really good in training camp so far without a number one wide receiver. He has torched the secondary of Dallas and LA multiple times, and he's really kept this offense afloat while he works with a number of different receivers that aren't true number one wide receivers like CeeDee. I remember a time that Dak really struggled when he didn't have that number one, whether that was without Amari or CeeDee. But so far through camp, I don't think he's gotten enough credit for what he's done against Mike Zimmer and this defensive back room of Dallas. And he showed it once again against LA. Now, as good as Dak has been, yesterday during practice, I thought that he was running for his life behind the Cowboys offensive line at times. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see much of Tyler Guyton on Thursday because he's dealing with a pretty bad illness, it seems like. So that means that Chuma Edoga and Awesome Richards gave it a go against Jared Verse and company. And I would say that didn't go great. I would have liked to see a cleaner outing from that group as a whole, especially in the passing game. And we all know that Dak's at his best when he's throwing on time and in rhythm. On the other hand, I thought the Cowboys offensive line had good moments in the run game. Zeke and Dowdle both had big running lanes and had big runs themselves thanks to Tyler Smith, who might just be the best offensive lineman on this team already. Yes, I know that Zach Martin exists. You have to imagine that the Cowboys see the running game as a top priority because it was something that got them in trouble last year when they really needed it. And I just gotta say this before we continue to the defense. Dowdle is so clearly the best running back on this team. Stop giving Zeke first team snaps, please. And thank you. Really quick, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, BetUS. If you're looking for the best odds for the NFL season, Cowboys futures, live in-game betting, whatever you need, BetUS has you covered. They have huge bonuses, great odds, and fast payouts. Plus, new customers get a 125% sign-up bonus on their first 3 deposits. Deposit $20, get $25 more to play with. The link to sign up is in the description of today's video. Now, let's get back into the video. Now let's talk about the defensive side of the ball for just a minute. The Cowboys defense as a whole seemed like they had a good day, and we'll talk about everyone we can in this video. But the defensive line in particular really shined during this scrimmage. They looked strong against this LA front and really overpowered them at times. It was really evident in the one-on-one drills where Mazi Smith, Chauncey Golston, Marshawn Nealon all won their reps with ease. Mazi even had a really nice pass rush rep in one-on-ones that shows you the potential upside even if he's never going to be a multi-sack guy in a season. He can do it. When the technique's clean, when he gets his hands inside, he can move people. The power is there. there. During the 11-on-11 portion, Matthew Stafford was running for his life a couple of times because the Cowboys defensive line won across the board and Stafford just had no time to throw. We know this team lost a few pass rushers to free agency. They lost Sam Williams to an ACL. So I'm definitely interested in how this group's going to look in 2024, and it seems like they're off to a good start. Maybe we should feel good about this defensive line moving forward, but does this practice say more about how bad the Rams offensive line is or how good the Cowboys defensive line is? I don't know, but I was impressed with how much pressure they were able to create over and over again against LA. Behind the defensive line, the linebackers flashed as well. One of the first players that I noticed was Eric Kendricks. Kendricks had a few really nice plays. He was getting downhill, making tackles at or behind the line of scrimmage, and honestly, it's probably some of the best linebacker play that we've seen on this team in quite some time. He showed the instincts, his ability to read and react, the athleticism to get downhill, and then put a helmet on the ball carrier. Kendricks really impressed me with how he played in this scrimmage. I knew that he was going to be a solid addition in this room, but I figured it would reap more benefits in the classroom with the younger guys that the Cowboys added. But no, he's out here making plays on the field, playing with high intensity, and that veteran leadership is showing up over and over again. Another linebacker that showed up to play was DeMarvion Overshown, who continued his strong camp in this scrimmage as well. He flashed the burst we saw in the preseason last year, and like Kendricks, the read and react ability was on full display. Overshown is my player to watch in this upcoming preseason game, assuming that he gets snaps. And based on what we've seen from him so far this summer, I don't think he's going to disappoint. Still on the defensive side of the ball, once again, we have to talk about Kalen Carson. If you missed my last video, it's going to be right here about Kalen Carson, how good of a camp he's had. After this video's over, make sure you go watch that one. Carson had an interception in this scrimmage, and like he has all camp, he just keeps making plays, and the buzz around him is just getting so loud at this point. I have to imagine that you'd find a way to get him on the field in 2024. He had an interception in the red zone against Jimmy G that probably would have been a pick six if it were in a game. I mean, I can't really stress this enough. Kalen Carson is exactly what you want to see from a rookie corner. In the scrimmage, he carried over what we saw him do against his own teammates, and I think that's going to carry over once again on Sunday when the Cowboys face the Rams for real. My bold prediction for the game on Sunday is that Carson has a few wow plays that only make the conversation around him that much louder. Real quick before we end this video, let's talk about special teams. Cowboys and Rams special teams worked on the new kickoff rule, and we saw a couple of interesting things. This new kickoff is going to be a lot more different than people think, especially earlier in the season as teams really try to figure out certain ways to exploit blocking schemes, and it's just going to create that much more explosive plays. The kickoff is going to mean more. Cowboy special teams did give up a touchdown in this new kickoff drill. Unfortunately for fans, we didn't get to see Turpin return any kicks, but one player that did shine was David Durden. Not someone that we've really talked a whole lot about on this channel, but he looked really good against the Rams on his returns. And he might have even had a touchdown if this was a live game. Durden even had a few nice plays at wide receiver and had a chance on a deep ball, but the quarterback missed him after he had a step or two on the corner. After the ACL injury, it seems like Durden still has that 4.3 speed, because he was moving yesterday. So I just had to give him a shout out. He really stood out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.